Tonight on Metro News, we put on our gumboots for a mental health fundraiser. Artists come together to save a heritage building. And could overseas players end the Rams championship drought? Kia ora and welcome to Metro News, a program brought to you by students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School.
Poor mental health continues to impact young Kiwis around New Zealand, and a charity called Gumboot Friday is trying to do something about it by raising money for kids counselling. To tell us more, Lucy Bendell joins us now. Lucy.
Gumboot Friday is a fundraising event where people put on their boots and walk. Comedian Mike King is the founder, and this year he walked 100 kilometres to raise $100,000. Now the money he and others bring in will be paying for the counselling, and the charities say it's important for kids to go if they're unwell, but also to keep well. Gumboot Friday, a day to walk alongside those who struggle with their mental health.
Having depression is like walking through mud. People are hiding the fact that they have depression. Why don't we have a day where we all put on gumboots and walk through the mud with them? So then anyone who's suffering silently can see anyone on this particular day is rooting for them and is in their corner.
Around New Zealand, Kiwis put on their gumboots to walk and talk, raising awareness and money for kids' mental health. This year's goal, to raise $5 million to provide 40,000 free counselling sessions for kids.
I think it's hugely important that we encourage our young ones to think about their mental health and to be aware of it.
But at the moment, the only way kids can get free counselling is if they go to a doctor, get a referral, before being put on a wait list, which can be up to 6 months.
There's just not enough counsellors. So, I mean, great to be able to pay for counselling, but even when you can pay for it, you still have to wait.
Dr Bagshaw calls for more of the funding to go towards training counsellors.
There's a shortage right across New Zealand when it comes to practitioners, and the resource to meet the need is we're under-resourced, underfunded.
Raise provides counselling and says cases are getting younger and more serious.
Whenever you see kids involved in mental health issues, so we're seeing it affecting younger and younger people. We've had some cases where we're dealing with 8-year-olds, with severe mental health concerns.
We need to show that it's okay to reach out for help.
Just normalising the need to talk.
Mental health is real.
I lost my dad to suicide, and it kind of all it made me aware of how important it is and that it is life-threatening if you don't take care of your mental health.
They're hoping to show people they're not alone. Now the money is still coming in, so we're yet to find out exactly how many Kiwis have been helped. But if you're between the age of 5 and 24, this could benefit you. The Gumboot Friday website has nearly 4,000 counsellors listed, so remember, once you've booked your session, it's all paid for.
Thanks, Lucy. If this story raises any immediate concerns, there's a number of places to go. If you need help now, you can free text or call the numbers below to access Youthline.
A scheme to end period poverty is being rolled out in New Zealand schools. The Ministry of Education ran a trial in the Waikato, which was successful, and now it's happening in Christchurch schools too. Our reporter Victoria Stevens has the story.
From mid-June, all schools that opt into the initiative will have enough free pads and tampons to cover every student's cycle. So far, 70% of New Zealand schools have joined, including Christchurch's Cashmere High School.
Our school nurse has actually already begun the administrative process of opting into the initiative. It's something we feel positive about and are keen to be a part of.
Kelly Fenimore says this initiative's a great way to get kids to attend school regularly.
We do believe that there are some students for whom this does affect. We have a number of students who regularly access sanitary products from our school nurse. So I feel like without that service being available, that potentially that would be an issue.
Deputy Head Girl and Health Council member Molly Simpson says this won't make students feel so isolated.
Yes, I definitely think it would make girls feel more comfortable at school. Periods are a natural process which happen to every woman in their lifetime, and I think that this regime would be able to create a safe and inclusive environment.
A Youth 19 survey found that 12% of Year 9 to 13 students who menstruate had difficulty getting access to period products due to cost.
Definitely in Aotearoa and all over the world there are girls that don't have access to these products, so I think that this regime would really help decrease that problem.
Associate Education Minister Jan Tinetti says a main aim is to reduce gender norms and stigma around menstruation. We will be exploring how we can develop teaching and classroom resources to strengthen education on periods. With the rollout underway, the government's now keen for all co-ed and girls' schools to opt in, so free period products are available for any student who needs them. Victoria Stevens, Metro News.
A local sporting initiative is helping underprivileged kids fit big dreams into small boots. Our reporter Claudia Toxopoulos laces up and goes along to a training session to check things out.
When these Kiwi kids hit the field, no challenge is too big, no players too small. And thanks to the team at Tamai Sports, no bodies left out.
Well, I've always loved sport, and I just sort of think that everyone should have the opportunity to.
Tamai Sports is a non-for-profit program providing young children from East Christchurch with sporting opportunities. The initiative tackles socio-economic barriers preventing kids from playing sport. All through a vehicle the team is passionate about: rugby.
Well, it's a number of barriers. It's financial, transport, lots of things, because the parents, they might work Saturdays and can't transport the kids there, or they work night shifts, and or just the subscription fees and the boots. It's quite a big expense for some parents.
Kicking off in 2018, the goal of the initiative is to give back to the community. Sports gear, uniforms and snacks are provided by the team, so nothing stands in the way of these future rugby stars. The players are having a ball.
And how was the game today? Did you have fun?
Yes, I loved it because someone on another team helped someone that wasn't on their team.
Teamwork, just one of the many skills proud parents say their kids are learning.
Good for them to work as a team, and they learn new skills as well.
I think just getting out and about, running around, being with mates.
Well, for him it's probably not actually the game, it's about being here with other kids.
Moving forwards, the Tamai team hope to embrace more sports, expand into other regions and bring in a music program.
I'm pretty proud, to be honest. It's been cool for me watching it grow.
They'll continue to huddle together as they train the next generation of rugby legends. Claudia Toxopoulos, Metro News.
Coming up next, City Councillor James Daniels talks about taking up his new role at News Talk ZB, and we look at how artists are fighting to keep heritage alive.
So I'm Paul Van Uden. I am living in London, have been for the last 6 years, and I'm working as a digital consultant. I was working in radio in New Zealand for about 4 years, and when I moved over I was just looking for a bit of a change of scene, and I started doing like websites and web builds for medium-sized businesses. Ended up working for one of the big agencies, one of the kind of global agencies, and from there I've been moved into consulting as well. My work is genuinely around innovation. It's across all different industries, so I'm not doing one thing at any given time. Not just using technology innovatively, but thinking about, what's the strategy here? How can you use that to think about what people need and respond to those needs? I go out to client sites, so I get to travel all over the place. Could be in Zurich, or I could be working on an account in Berlin or somewhere for 6 months, or up in Scotland. But my home office is here in Canary Wharf. I finished my degree off campus as an executive student. It wasn't purely theoretical. There was a good amount of background and knowledge, but there was a lot of practical application. Learning how to interact with people and how workplaces work was actually a really big advantage.
Welcome back. A court battle is looming to decide the fate of Madras Street's Ing building. It's on the new site of the new sports stadium, and the Crown wants to take it over so the project can proceed. The owners fear it'll be demolished and are raising funds to fight the matter in court. Lockie McLeod is covering the story and joins us now. Lockie.
10 years on and the message is still the same. We want to save this building. Just across the road, work is beginning on the new multi-purpose stadium, but standing in its way is the Ing building, which has been on that site since 1905. It's one of the last heritage buildings remaining in Christchurch, and its future is by no means secure.
I sound for this wonderful cause. Going.
It's an auction with a difference, to raise money to preserve a piece of Christchurch history. On offer, more than 50 artworks, including 3 from Ralph Hoteri. To help save the building, Hang In There Mate was gifted to Ing owners in 2013. With stadium plans now threatening its future, artists have come together to help save this heritage site.
It seems like the most fitting way for us to be able to raise funds to be able to save our building.
The 115-year-old heritage building is on the site of the new stadium, and with the Crown issuing a compulsory acquisition order, the owners fear it'll be demolished.
It was one of the first buildings to reopen after the earthquake, so having lost so much in Christchurch, it seems a real shame to lose something else when we don't need to lose it. Sharon and Roland are very happy to sell the building, they just don't want it to be pulled down.
Plans to incorporate the building in the new stadium complex seem to be off the table. The Heritage Trust disappointed.
To give false hope to owners of buildings for 10 years and then say we're going to take it is draconian law in my view.
Why do you think this building should be saved?
Because it's the last one. Once we've lost this, we've lost all memory of that part of our history.
However, there may be a solution, moving the building about 250 metres to a site near the transitional cathedral. The cost, about $2.5 million.
The museum hotel was moved in Wellington and there was a pub moved in Auckland.
Land Information New Zealand, which owns the stadium site, isn't commenting due to pending legal action. The owners will be heading to court in August to stop demolition and say the best option after that is moving it. Now, if shifting it is no longer an option, both Stephen Park and Dame Anna would then like to see it incorporated into the new stadium, allowing Christchurch the best of both worlds, the old and the new. But for now, it's a waiting game. The question on people's minds, will it stay or will it go?
Would you put your child in a taxi by themselves? Many wouldn't, but as I found out, a Christchurch mother's new initiative will give busy parents peace of mind.
For busy parents by busy parents.
The whole idea was to build a service that allowed kids to have those options that due to parents having to work, so long and so many hours, that we could help them get there.
Lisa's new child pickup service, called Cabs for Kids, is based in Horswell. Kids can be picked up and dropped off from school, daycare and activities. Drivers are police vetted, health and safety trained, and parents themselves.
The kids do get to go to different activities and they're not penalised for the fact that their parents are having to work.
It's a requirement of law in New Zealand for drivers to have their passenger endorsement licence. Now that includes a police check.
The taxi industry says while parents can choose the new service, mainstream companies are safe.
I wouldn't hesitate to let my grandchildren go in taxis, for example, because I know that the reputable taxi companies do their own vetting of drivers, and if there's the slightest suggestion that they're not fit and proper for it, then they don't go out.
Those using Cabs for Kids appreciate the added extras.
Well, I know who's running them, and Lisa's amazing about checking in with us. The kids are signed in, so we know that they get to where they're going when they need to be there and safely.
The drivers look forward to seeing their young customers.
You'll know that they're safe and they love me picking them up. They give me big cuddles and it's fun.
The cabs can be booked up to 24 hours in advance, and there's discounts for families or sports teams.
Without it, Maddie wouldn't be able to do gymnastics because we just can't. We both work full time, so it just wouldn't be possible.
The goal, to expand the cab service all over Christchurch.
Maddie, do you like it?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
That I get to see my friends all the time.
For Maddie and friends, fun times start before they even get home. Jessica Dermody, Metro News.
A well-known figure in Christchurch, James Daniels, has been widely involved with local government and media. Now he's set to become an afternoon host on News Talk ZB with Simon Barnett, cutting short his time at council. He joins us now in studio with reporter Jessica Swan.
Kia ora, James. Thank you for being here.
Kia ora, Jessica.
So what are you most looking forward to in your new role, and why did you take it?
I have known Simon since he was a young man and I was an older man, and so I've seen him grow as a broadcaster, and then to be asked to partner him on air, because we've never worked on air together, it's like an ex-All Black being recalled for the Rugby World Cup. That's what this is like.
So taking this job has obviously cut short your time at council. Why did this role take preference?
Well, because it's one for the baby boomers, of which I am. To be, as I say, offered a role like this I'm taking it for the team. But look, I didn't want to leave council. I love the role. The responsibility is really important. It's a privilege and an honour. That everyone says that, but it is, and you learn so much. So I wasn't looking to leave. It was just that this piece of cake was put in front of me, and I go, oh, okay.
So how do you think your decision to leave will impact on the City Council?
The council's going to, the timing of my resignation, which will be official on the 8th of July, means that they're going to have to run a by-election to replace me in the coastal ward. And so they're going to do that. But if one of the community board members is elected, the timing is such that they don't have to be replaced, and they can make an appointment, whereas this will be a by-election. So that'll be the difference.
So you've been a councillor for a little bit and have been involved with a few conflicts as well. What have your experiences taught you about local government?
Oh, look, local government is more important than silly old central government in Wellington, seriously. And I didn't realise this until I was elected or started campaigning a couple of years ago. Because when you wake up in the morning and you clean your teeth, the water comes through City Council, local government. When you back your car out across the footpath, local government, City Council. Down the road, City Council. You go on the weekends to a park, City Council. City Councils influence and affect our daily lives more than central government does. Central government, all they do is they tax you and then spend it on, what do they spend it on?
Great question. So often there's a conversation regarding the tension between media and government. So having been involved in both, have you found this tension to exist?
I think it's a healthy tension. Media needs to make local government and any public body accountable. So I don't have a problem with that. So yes, I have noticed that, and that's how it should be. We live in a society where we have a lot of freedom, but we also have accountability, and media is major in that.
Thank you very much for your time, James, and good luck.
Thanks, Jessica. Coming up, how overseas players could help end the Rams championship drought. And put your dancing shoes on as we visit a silent disco.
My name is Sampan. I work in the camera department in film and television. Currently I'm in Brussels shooting a little piece, but I'm based in London and I travel all over the world filming bits and pieces here and there. Graduated 4 years ago from the New Zealand Broadcasting School. From then I've just been all over the place, working on documentaries, commercials, TV series, reality shows, all sorts of stuff. After doing my internship with a local company in Christchurch, I moved over to New York. From New York I went over to Vancouver. From Vancouver I moved over to London. Working in Europe is amazing. The history that surrounds you, it's older than the country that I grew up in, and to me that's very inspiring. The course was very practical, which was exactly what I needed. To do what I do, you need to really have your hands on the equipment to kind of feel where things need to be and how to frame and everything. The past 4 years after graduating from broadcasting school have been the best years of my life. Not many people can say, I do what I love as a living. I can safely say that. Every day I go to work, there's something new that I learn. It's very exciting for me.
Welcome back. With the Black Caps about to take on England later this evening, ground staff at Lincoln will be watching closely, knowing they've done their best to get the team ready. As Nick Duff reports, they prepared a special English-style wicket for the players to train on.
The #1 Test team in the world.
It was an incredible home summer for the Black Caps. The side went undefeated in all home games for the very first time. And now they're preparing for their biggest task yet, a World Test Championship final against India.
And while there has been plenty of praise for the likes of Kane Williamson and Trent Boult, there is one man who remains the unsung hero of New Zealand cricket.
Meet Steve Sukigawa. Steve's been the head groundsman at the New Zealand Cricket High Performance Centre for 4 years. He and his team are able to cater for any conditions, depending on where the Black Caps are scheduled to tour.
So they're going to India, we'd put them on used wickets. And then for England, we had the camp in May here, so it kind of suited the conditions for us here to prepare pitches like England.
Even torrential rain earlier this week didn't stop Steve and his team from working. They use special grow lights to help dry the pitches when the weather isn't playing ball.
So we use them in the marquee, especially on days like today when we haven't seen the sun for 3 or 4 days. Gives that bit of light because we don't have any natural light, and then use them to dry out the pitch a wee bit.
He says they've got a busy winter schedule planned with winter camps running from May through till September.
Put marquee up about April, and then we have winter training camps, black cap camps, under 19 white ferns, and so the winter's pretty jam-packed. I think we've got like 15 camps this year.
As for his pick for the winner of the World Test Championship?
New Zealand to win.
The final begins in just over 2 weeks' time, so until then, Steve, like the rest of us, will be waiting patiently to see if our team can bring home the trophy. Nick Duff, Metro News.
A sold-out event at one of Christchurch's biggest nightclubs would normally mean loud music, but Original Sin found a way to keep the noise down and keep the fun up. Garrett Doppenberg has more.
The club is packed out. Everyone's gearing up for a big night.
There's something to do in this boring Christchurch. There's not much that happens at night, so this is a bit fun.
In this city, silent discos are relatively new.
If your friend group loves one sort of music and your other friend group loves the other genre, they're all happy here.
So, how does it work?
You simply walk up to the front door.
How you doing, my man?
Grab your headphones, and away you go.
Everyone has 3 choices, and they simply pick the style of music they want.
It caters for everyone. The people that love music up at Eddie's, it's the old school music, we've got that on Green Channel. Drum and bass fans, we've got drum and bass on our Red Channel, and kind of girly throwbacks and our kind of like our Saturday night vibes on our Blue Channel. So it caters for everyone.
And of course the music's all live.
You can party with your friends who all have different music tastes and have fun.
You don't have to argue over who's on.
We don't like the same music, so it's great.
No one knows who you are. Yeah, and when you take your headphones off, you can just hear everyone yelling.
It's cracker.
It's great.
And the coloured lights indicate who is listening to what.
There's a bit of competitiveness because you're sort of thinking, I've got to play the biggest tune here, so you're trying to play the biggest white girl banger you can to really get the crowd going.
A silent disco, but not a boring one. Garrett Doppenberg, Metro News.
The Canterbury Rams are contenders to win this year's NBL competition for the first time since 1992. The side's brought in overseas imports to help end their championship drought. Tommy Flavel has the story.
Former NBA G League champion EJ Singler spent 2 weeks in managed isolation with his family to be able to play for the Rams. That got him motivated, and he's here to do the business.
Before I got over here, the goal was to win the championship. I was like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to put all my heart into, winning the championship here.
This is Singler's first season with the Rams after playing professionally in Germany and Greece. And after just 6 games, he's already leading the league in assists.
He's a competitor, he wants to win, so he sets a standard there and he plays. It'd be pretty hard to name another player that trains or plays harder than he does. So, he's not only talented, but he's a really good guy when it comes to the leadership side of things.
And EJ's got his eyes set on winning.
Throughout my whole career, I've won at every level, so that's one of the main attributes I like to bring to teams.
is that winning piece, whatever it is.
A second import, American point guard Deshaun Taylor, is the Rams' top point scorer.
When we felt like we needed some leadership, we definitely need some scoring out of the backcourt. So that's where Deshaun Taylor, I guess, came into the equation. He just sort of really ticks all the boxes.
EJ is one of the talented imports that will help carry the Rams to their next championship. So get down and buy your tickets, because these boys might have been the missing piece. Tommy Flavel, Metro News.
And now to the weather. Finally, it was sunny in Ōtautahi today as we reached a high of 14. It's looking to be a chilly night with a low of 3. Another cold, sunny day is expected tomorrow with a high of 13.
That's all for Metro News tonight. For those stories and more, head on over to our website, metronews.co.nz, or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram.
We'll be back tomorrow night from 7. Ko Jessica Dermody aho.
Ko Pierre Nixon aho.
Ka kite anō.